Archangel Michael says, "My precious one, listen closely, for these final moments are not ordinary." The last 30 seconds of this message hold a divine touch that can open doors you have long been waiting for. Stay with me, do not move away, because what is about to come could change the story of your life. With tears falling from his eyes and his voice shaking with the weight of heaven itself, they are dying. The 7 who fought for you are fading. Wounded in battle while shielding your soul from harm, they gave all they had so that your heart could remain whole. My child, you were never alone. Not even once. From the moment you took your first breath, God placed His angels around you. They have been fighting in silence while you slept, standing between you and the dark things you'll never even know about. Type 999 if you trust Jesus. There is something sacred about how God sees you. The way He whispers your name through the wind, the way He touches your spirit through the gentle warmth of the morning sun, the way He protects you even when you forget to pray. There is a love so deep in His gaze that not even eternity could fully contain it. You are His chosen one. Not because you are perfect, but because you are loved, and because He wrote your name into the story of heaven long before you ever felt unworthy of it. Michael still kneels, calling out to you, not with anger, not with pressure, but with the raw, holy desperation of a guardian who would fall 1,000 times over just to give you one more breath of peace. The 7 archangels fought battles you couldn't see, not for glory, not for thanks, but because God asked them to guard you. Every step you've taken, even the broken ones, they've been right beside you. Every tear you've cried, they've knelt beside your bed in the dark and gathered them like precious jewels, carrying them to the Father, saying, "Look, Lord, even in pain, they are still holding on." Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you really love God. God watches all this with a heart that breaks in a way only love can break. Not in weakness, but in that fierce ache that only a father feels when his child is close to danger and doesn't know it. He reaches out not to punish, but to protect. Not to demand, but to draw you nearer. You are not being called because you're strong. You are being called because your heart was always meant to hold His light. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brain wave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. So many have told you that you're too flawed, too far, too late. But that voice is not of God. His voice says, "Come back to me. I never left you." His voice is peace in the middle of your storm, the steady anchor when your soul trembles. Even now, He is whispering into your spirit, reminding you that you are not alone in your struggle. He is still here. The heavens are still watching over you. And now, in this quiet moment, as you read these words, heaven waits for you. Not because they need your strength, but because your yes can open doors that only love can walk through. The angels are not fading because of your fault. They are fading because your light is needed to complete the healing. The power was placed in you not because you asked for it, but because God knew your heart could carry it. Archangel Michael is not begging out of fear. He's pleading out of love. The kind of love that lays down its sword to kneel in the dust beside you, just to let you know you are still worth fighting for. Every heartbeat you have is a rhythm from God, every breath a chance to begin again. The angels gave everything to protect that chance. Type 2121 if you trust God's plan for your life. There is still time. Still hope. Still breath left in this story. But your heart is the key. Not because it is spotless, but because it still beats with the whisper of heaven inside it. You carry something sacred. A flame that can relight what has dimmed. They are waiting for you, not to perform, not to prove anything, but just to believe that you matter this much to God. Let this moment be the one where heaven touches earth again through you. Not with grand gestures, but with a simple turning of the heart toward the one who's been loving you through it all. Let your soul open like a window, and watch how the light floods in. The angels will rise again. Not by force, but by your faith. And faith doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be real. A whisper. A breath. A tear that falls and says, "I'm still here, God." That's all it takes. That's all He's ever needed. The love you still carry is more powerful than the darkness you faced. And God has already written a miracle into your story. Archangel Michael says, there is a weight upon your spirit that you were never meant to carry alone. Heaven saw the moments when your hands trembled and your heart sank beneath the surface of all the pain you never spoke about. You tried to stay strong, to smile through the ache, to keep walking even when it felt like the ground had fallen out from under you. But I was there. We were all there. Watching, weeping, and standing guard, even when you didn't feel it. You are not forgotten. Not to us. Not to God. The 7 archangels who stood with me, Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel, Zadkiel, Jophiel, Chamuel, and Raguel, each bore wounds while guarding the light that lives inside your soul. And not once did they ask why. They knew your heart was worth it. They knew you were chosen. Even in your darkest moments, even when the night stretched longer than your hope could handle, they stayed. Because God's love for you never flickered, not even for a second. And when the enemy came like a storm, they raised their wings to shield you, to cover you, to fight for the breath in your lungs and the softness in your heart. God sees how tired you are. He knows the weight you carry and the quiet battles you fight each day. He sees how much you try to keep going when everything inside you wants to stop. He sees the parts of you that are afraid, the parts that feel too broken to be used for anything good. But He doesn't see you as ruined. He sees you as His own beloved child, carved from His image, created with purpose and love that no failure or fear could ever erase. There are holy things in this world that never make a sound, and you are one of them. You don't need to shout to be heard by heaven. Even your silent tears have echoed in the halls of the angels. The ones falling now, even as you read this, are not falling unseen. They are precious. They are being held. Every tear you've cried has been a prayer, even when you didn't know what to say. Even when you couldn't say anything at all. And now, the angels are tired. They're hurting. But they have not given up on you. They never will. Michael still kneels, not in weakness, but in hope. He kneels because he knows how powerful your heart is when it turns toward God. He knows your spirit can awaken miracles. You have no idea how many times your life has already changed the world around you. Quietly. Gently. Without even trying. Type 2222 to open the door to new blessings. The truth is, you don't need to be fearless. You don't need to be ready. You just need to be open. You just need to remember that you are loved in ways that words could never fully explain. You are seen. You are chosen. And even now, even with everything you've been through, the light of God still burns inside you. Sometimes healing doesn't come in a rush. Sometimes it comes in the quiet returning to the truth that you've never been abandoned. That God's hands have always been holding the broken pieces of your heart, patiently waiting for the moment you'd allow Him to rebuild it into something even more beautiful than before. And while the archangels lay wounded from the battles they fought for your soul, you still have the power to breathe life back into their strength. Not by force. Not by perfection. But simply by letting God back in. By believing that you still matter this much. That you are still loved this deeply. That heaven still sees you as someone worth protecting, worth choosing, worth fighting for. God is not angry with you. He is not disappointed. He is reaching for you. Even now, He is gently placing His presence around your heart, inviting you to come back to Him, to let Him be the shelter you've been searching for. He does not need you to fix yourself. He only wants you to say yes. To lean in. To remember that His grace is stronger than your shame. That His love is deeper than your scars. You are not here by accident. These words were meant for you. Not to scare you, but to remind you of what is still true. That you are never too far. That the angels are still holding on. That God still calls you His beloved. And that you, right now, have the power to bring heaven closer, just by letting your heart be seen again. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. Archangel Michael says, I am still on my knees, calling your name through the silence of your soul, praying you will feel this moment and understand how deeply heaven believes in you. We are not asking for perfection, only for your heart, because in it lies a spark of the same love that formed the stars. That spark is what we fought to protect. It is what we bleed for still. Not because we are weak, but because your life matters more than you will ever know. In the quiet corners of your life, when no one else is looking, God sees you. He sees the way you carry your pain behind gentle smiles. He sees the way you try to love others even when you feel empty. And He treasures that love. You might feel small, you might feel forgotten, but the heavens are wide open over your life, waiting, watching, and reaching toward you, not with judgment, but with mercy that never ends. Every angel who fought for you carries the memory of your name on their lips. When the battles raged and the shadows crept close, your name was the reason they stood firm. You have been defended not just by power, but by devotion. There is a love in heaven that will not let you go. Not now, not ever. Type Amen if you believe in God's endless mercy. Michael's voice trembles, but it holds strength. We have seen your goodness, even when you couldn't. We have stood in awe of your kindness, your bravery, and your hope that flickers like a candle in the wind but never goes out. You have no idea how much beauty we see in you. Even in your most broken moments, there is light in you that refuses to die. That is what we fight for. And God, He calls you my own. Not because you've earned it, but because He made you. Because He chose you before you even understood what being chosen meant. His love doesn't rise and fall with your mistakes. It is steady, constant. A river that flows through every valley you've walked through and every dry place you thought would never bloom again. He's still there. Still waiting. Still whispering, "Come home to me." You may not feel strong enough. You may feel tired. You may feel too far gone. But feelings are not the truth. God is the truth. And His truth says you are still welcome, still worthy, still held in arms that do not grow weary. He hasn't changed His mind about you, even when you've doubted Him. He hasn't withdrawn His love, even when you've pulled away. He is still for you. Always. The 7 archangels lie in stillness, not in defeat, but in sacred hope. They have given everything so that your story would not end in sorrow. They believed, with all their might, that you would rise. That you would remember. That you would step back into the light, even if you were trembling. That you would dare to believe that your life carries purpose no one else can fulfill. And they're right. You do. There are people you will love, wounds you will help heal, moments of grace you will carry into dark places without even realizing it. Because the love of God inside you is alive, and it's waiting to be poured out. You don't need a grand moment. You just need to be willing. You just need to say, "Here I am, God. I'm tired, but I'm still yours." You might not see the angels, but they're near. You might not feel God, but He's closer than your breath. And all of heaven waits, not with pressure, but with hope. The kind of hope that wraps around your heart and says, "You are still needed. You are still loved. You still matter." Let yourself feel it. Let yourself believe again. You are not here by accident. You are not reading this by chance. Something sacred is unfolding, and it begins with you. Just as you are. Just as you feel. And just as you've always been, loved beyond measure, chosen before time began, and carried by a God who calls you His own. Michael's wings may be heavy, but his faith in you is unshaken. The angels do not need anything but your willingness to keep going. To keep loving. To keep turning back toward the one who has always waited for you with open arms. Type 2020 to embrace joy and strength in Christ. Archangel Michael says, "The hour is tender now, the sky holds its breath, and heaven leans a little closer to you. I remain on my knees, not in despair, but in reverence, because I see what God sees in you. Even with all your questions, all your bruises, and every piece of your heart you thought was too damaged to be loved again, I see it. I see the light. I see the calling. I see the divine thread running through every part of your soul, and I weep, not out of sorrow, but out of love so fierce it humbles even the strongest among us. You have walked through storms that tried to silence your spirit. You have carried grief that others never saw, and still, you kept going. Maybe not loudly, maybe not boldly, but still, you rose. You reached for one more day. One more step. And that was never small. It was never unnoticed. Every time your heart broke and still found the courage to beat again, heaven recorded it as sacred. The 7 who fought for you, those archangels who stood in the gap between you and the darkness, did not see your mistakes. They saw your soul. They didn't protect you because you were flawless. They protected you because you are deeply loved, and your life is woven into something so holy that not even your lowest moments can unravel it. Their wounds are not marks of defeat. They are symbols of victory, because you're still here. You're still breathing. And the enemy has not won. God is not far from you. He is not hiding. He has not turned his face away. He is near. Quiet, perhaps, but never distant. Like a father sitting beside a child too hurt to speak, he waits. He listens. And he understands the language of your silence. His love is not shaken by your doubts. His mercy is not moved by your fears. He is steady. He is constant. And he is for you. The pain you carry isn't something to hide from God. It's something to bring to him. He is not afraid of your anger or your sadness. He doesn't flinch at your questions. He simply opens his arms wider, inviting you to collapse into them, just as you are. He never asked you to be strong all the time. He only asked you to let him carry what you were never meant to hold alone. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today. Michael's voice breaks through again, filled with emotion. They are fading, the ones who stood between your heart and harm. But even now, they do not regret the wounds. Even now, their love for you burns brighter than the pain they endure. What they gave willingly, because they believe in your life. They believe in the good you will bring into this world. And most of all, they believe in the love of God that lives in you. You are not defined by what has hurt you. You are not bound by the worst chapters of your story. God is writing something new, something beautiful, and even though you can't see the full picture yet, every step forward, every quiet prayer, every trembling act of faith is part of it. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to trust that you are being held by hands that will never let go. Heaven is not disappointed in you. Heaven is waiting for you. Not to prove anything. Not to earn anything. But simply to be who you are, a beloved child of God, made in His image, carrying a light that was always meant to shine. Even if it's flickering now, it's not gone. It never will be. Because that light was placed in you by the one who called light out of darkness. You may feel tired. You may feel lost. But none of that disqualifies you. God knew exactly who you were when He chose you. He knew every fear, every fall, every scar, and He still said, "This one. This is the one I want. This is the one I love." You are not too far gone. You are not too late. You are right on time for grace to meet you exactly where you are. Type 1818 to claim miracles and breakthroughs. So breathe. Let yourself be found again. Let the love of God wrap around you like a blanket in the cold. Let the angels sing over you, not because you are perfect, but because you are precious. Let Michael's plea reach into the deepest part of you, not to frighten, but to remind you of how much you matter. You are part of something bigger than you know. Something holy. Something eternal. And even now, the heavens rejoice at the sound of your heart turning toward home. Archangel Michael says, there is a quiet trembling in the heavens tonight, not from fear, but from hope. The kind of hope that only exists when love has gone through the fire and still refuses to give up. That's the kind of love we have for you. That's the kind of love God has always had for you. The 7 who stood beside me, who now lie still and wounded, are not asking for your strength. They are calling out to your heart, because they know what is hidden there. They know the power of love that still lives within you, even after all you've been through. Sometimes we go so long feeling unseen that we forget we were ever chosen at all. We carry our pain in silent pieces, hoping no one will notice how close we are to breaking. But God sees every piece. He gathers them gently, like a father holding the shattered remnants of a child's favorite toy, and says, I can still use this. I can still make something beautiful from this. There is no part of you that is too damaged for His hands. No memory too painful, no regret too heavy, no fear too loud. His love doesn't look away. It leans in. He knew every storm you would walk through, every scar you would carry, every time you would feel too weak to move forward, and He loved you through it all. Not after you healed, not after you figured it out, but in the middle of your mess. In the thick of your sorrow. In the quiet moments when you thought no one cared. Type Amen if you believe God is watching over you, and share this video with 7 faithful hearts to bring blessings and miracles to your life. The 7 archangels who protected your soul never questioned their mission. They stood between you and the harm meant to crush you, not because they were ordered to, but because heaven knew your life held purpose beyond what you could see. They knew that inside your soul lived seeds of healing, of love, of grace that could change the world around you in ways no one else could. Michael's voice grows softer, full of ache and adoration. We saw your tears when no one else did. We saw how you held on to God even when it felt like He was silent. We saw you stay kind when the world was cruel. We saw you offer love when your own heart was breaking. And that is why we fought. That is why we bleed now. Because even in your lowest moments, you reflected the light of the one who made you. You are not just a face in the crowd. You are not just another soul wandering through life. You are part of something holy. You carry the breath of God in your lungs and the mark of His love on your spirit. You were made for love. You were made to shine. And no pain, no mistake, no shadow can erase that truth. Maybe you've forgotten how much you matter. Maybe the weight of life has dulled your sense of wonder. But the truth has not changed. God still knows your name. He still calls you His. He still waits for you with a heart full of mercy, a heart that aches to see you whole. You don't need to do anything grand. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to come as you are, with all your fears, all your questions, and all your hope that maybe, just maybe, there is still beauty waiting for you. Type 1919 if you believe healing is yours. The angels are fading, but not because they regret the battle. They are fading because your light is the key to their strength. Not your perfection. Your light. Your faith, no matter how small. Your willingness to believe that you are still part of God's story. That is enough. That is always enough. God never turns away the broken-hearted. He draws them close. He wraps them in grace. He speaks gently to the places that hurt the most and says, I am still here. I have never left you. You are not too much for Him. You are not too little. You are exactly who He created you to be, and He delights in you more than you can ever understand. So don't run from this moment. Don't silence the part of you that feels Him stirring in your heart. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself be loved. The angels are not asking for a miracle. They are asking for your yes. The kind of yes that says, I don't know how, but I'm willing to believe again. That's all it takes. That's how healing begins. That's how the light returns. You are still the one God chose. You are still the one heaven protects. And even now, surrounded by pain, surrounded by weariness, your soul is rising. Your heart is waking up to love again. And we are still here. Watching. Hoping. Believing. Archangel Michael says, even now, as the light flickers low and the cries of the wounded archangels echo through the heavens, I hold your name like a prayer pressed to my heart. You are not just someone we were sent to guard. You are someone we love. You are someone we cherish. The war we fought was not because you were perfect, but because you are deeply, endlessly loved by the one who created the stars and carved your name into eternity. What if the fastest path to wealth was already inside your mind, waiting to be activated by a powerful sound wave? Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it begins drawing opportunities, success, and financial freedom like never before. Imagine the relief of no more bills and the joy of living your dreams. This is more than an offer, it is a divine turning point. Your destiny is waiting, but only if you choose to move now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on this ancient brain wave today. There is something sacred about your existence, even if you've never seen it in yourself. Every breath you take is a reminder that grace still lives in this world. Every beat of your heart is proof that God hasn't given up on you. The world may have worn you down. You may have wandered far from the path you once hoped to follow. But there is still time. Still healing. Still a place for you in the arms of the Father. The 7 archangels remain wounded, lying in silence beneath the light of heaven, not in despair, but in waiting. They are not defeated. They are not gone. But they grow weaker with every moment you forget who you are. And who you are has never been about what you've done or failed to do. It has always been about whose you are. God calls you His own. Even when you hide. Even when you doubt. Even when the darkness feels louder than your hope. You are still His. And nothing in this world, not shame, not fear, not sorrow, can change that. Michael's voice carries the weight of 1,000 battles and the tenderness of a soul who has watched over you since your beginning. We have seen you fall and get back up more times than you'll ever remember. We have seen you forgive when it cost you everything. We have seen you love when it would have been easier to walk away. And that love, it is stronger than the wounds we carry. That love is why we still believe in you. Heaven has always known you would go through moments of weakness. God never expected you to walk this life without stumbling. That's why His grace was given before you even knew you needed it. You don't have to pretend with Him. He sees you. All of you. And He stays. Not out of duty, but because His love for you is relentless and real. There is a softness in you that the world may not understand. A tenderness that is often mistaken for weakness. But in God's eyes, that gentleness is powerful. It is divine. It is what makes you so special, so rare. The angels who bled to protect your soul did not do so in vain. They saw something holy in your heart. And they still do. Type Amen if you surrender fully to God's will. You may not feel like a warrior. You may not feel like someone who changes the world. But love does not need loudness to be powerful. A quiet heart full of compassion shakes the gates of darkness more than any roar. And that's what you carry. That's what you've always carried, even when you forgot it was there. God is not asking you to save the world. He's asking you to open your heart. To let Him in. To let love in. To let yourself be reminded that your life matters, deeply. The archangels are not waiting for you to become something else. They are waiting for you to remember who you've always been, a beloved child of the Most High, created in light, protected by glory, and still capable of carrying healing into a world that so desperately needs it. Michael is still praying. Still believing. Still holding on for you. And God is still speaking into the depths of your spirit, saying, "You are mine. You are loved. You are enough." Nothing will change that. Not your past. Not your pain. Not your doubt. His love is unshaken. His heart is still turned toward you. So breathe. Let the fear fall away. Let the shame melt in the presence of His mercy. Let the wounds begin to heal. Not all at once. Just one small moment at a time. Just enough light to guide your next step. That's all you need. That's all He asks. You are the one the angels protected with their lives. You are the one God called by name before the beginning of time. And even now, even in the stillness, your heart is beginning to remember. Archangel Michael says, "My wings are heavy, but my hope has not faded. I have spoken your name into the heart of heaven more times than you can imagine, not as a soldier asking for strength, but as a brother asking for mercy. I have watched over you since your first breath, and I have wept in the quiet of the stars, not because I fear death, but because I believe in the life that God placed inside you. The 7 who lie wounded beside me, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Chamuel, Jophiel, Sadkiel, and Raguel, still breathe only because your soul has not given up. Even now, as the sky darkens and the weight of life presses down like a storm without end, you are not alone. You never were. Every sleepless night you survived, every moment you felt unseen, every time you whispered into the silence wondering if God still heard you, He did. He was closer than the breath in your chest, watching, holding, loving you through every unspoken ache. Heaven does not forget the broken. Heaven runs to them. The angels are not asking for your strength because you were never meant to carry this burden alone. They are not pleading for a grand act. They are simply waiting for your heart to open, even just a little, so the healing can begin. Because when you let God back into the places that hurt the most, light returns. Not as a flood, but as a whisper. Soft. Gentle. Strong enough to wake what has long been sleeping. God's love for you is not a distant idea. It is not locked behind your perfection or your performance. It is present now, in your pain, in your doubt, in your tiredness. His arms are still open. His heart is still yours. He does not ask for explanations. He asks for your trust. Just a little at a time. Enough to remind you that your story still matters. Michael's voice shakes with feeling. We never fought for who the world said you were. We fought for who God said you are. A healer. A light bringer. A soul with the power to touch others without ever raising your voice. You may not see it now, but we see it. We always have. Type 1717 to affirm your life is in God's hands. The pain that has tried to steal your joy is not greater than the grace that covers you. Your scars are not signs of failure. They are proof that you survived what tried to destroy you. And still, your heart beats. Still, you rise. And that is holy. The 7 archangels are fading, not out of despair, but out of love. Their wounds are reminders of how fiercely heaven guards your purpose. Their silence is not surrender. It is a waiting. A stillness that holds hope. Because they know that the moment you remember your worth, they will rise again. God is not asking you to be anyone else. He loves you as you are. Right now. Broken or whole. Lost or found. His love isn't built on what you bring, it is built on who you are to Him. You belong. You always have. And even if you've walked away 1,000 times, His mercy waits every time you return. What if 7 minutes could rewrite your financial future forever? This hidden frequency, backed by neuroscience, flips the brain's natural wealth switch, unleashing unstoppable prosperity. People are calling it the money magnet sound, and it's already transforming lives. But hesitation means missing out while others move ahead. This is your moment to act. Click the link in the video description and comments below to awaken the wealth inside you today before the chance slips away. You are not too far gone. You are not too late. And even if you feel empty, the truth is, God sees a heart still capable of love, still capable of light, still capable of being the reason someone else doesn't give up. That is not small. That is not forgotten. That is everything. Michael is still here. We are still here. Watching. Hoping. Holding on. Not because you owe us anything, but because we believe in you. Because God has never stopped believing in you. Because heaven knows that your story still holds beauty, still holds meaning, still holds power. Let your heart rest for a moment. Let the weight fall off your shoulders. You were never asked to carry it all. You were only asked to let yourself be loved. And love is here now. In these words. In this breath. In the unseen hands that have never stopped holding you. Archangel Michael says, "The sky above us grows dim, but not with defeat. It is the stillness that comes just before the light returns. I am still kneeling. My armor is torn, my strength has waned, but my heart has never stopped crying out for you. You are not forgotten. You are not lost." The 7 beside me, broken and silent, gave everything to keep your soul safe. Their wounds are deep, but their love for you runs deeper. They still believe in you. And so do I. There were times when you sat alone in your room, staring at nothing, feeling like your prayers had gone unheard. Times when the silence felt endless, and the heaviness in your chest made it hard to breathe. Those moments were not invisible to heaven. We were there, watching, aching, reaching for you. Every time your heart whispered, "Help," even if your lips said nothing, your cry was carried to the throne of God. You may not feel holy. You may not feel strong. But there is a sacredness in your survival. The fact that you are still here, still breathing, still reading these words, means there is something unshakable inside you. God placed it there. Long before the pain. Long before the lies. Long before the world tried to dim your light. The 7 archangels, who bled protecting your soul, did not do it for reward. They did it because heaven chose you. Because your life holds a light that only you can bring into this world. You may not see it yet. You may feel tired, worn thin, unsure of your purpose. But your very existence has already moved the heart of God. Type 1414 if you believe in divine protection. Michael's voice is quiet now, but it carries the weight of eternity. You think you're ordinary. But we saw the way you comforted others when your own heart was breaking. We saw the way you kept going, even with your soul scraped raw. We saw you forgive when you had every reason not to. We saw you hold on to hope like a thread, and even when it tore, you wrapped it around your heart and kept walking. You are not weak. You are not invisible. You are loved more than you know. God never measured you by your strength, but by your heart. And that heart, beaten down as it may feel, still carries beauty, still carries light, still carries the fingerprints of heaven. You don't have to understand the battle to be part of the victory. You don't have to feel ready to be restored. You don't have to fix yourself before coming back into God's arms. He isn't asking for your perfection. He's asking for your presence. He just wants you, exactly as you are. The angels are still breathing, faintly, because they are waiting for your soul to turn toward home. Not for glory. Not for power. But because your light holds the key to their healing. When you believe that you still matter, they begin to rise. When you let yourself be loved again, they begin to shine. You don't have to do it all at once. Just one breath at a time. One whisper to heaven that says, I'm still here. God's love isn't waiting for you to earn it. It's already wrapped around you. It never left. Even when you walked away. Even when you stopped praying. Even when your heart hardened to survive the weight of this world. That love has never given up on you. Michael looks at you now, not with pity, but with awe. You are more powerful than you know. Not because of your strength, but because of your love. That's what shakes the heavens. That's what darkness cannot touch. Let that love return to you now. Let it soften the edges of your pain. Let it breathe gently over the wounds you've hidden from the world. You don't have to be anything more than who you are in this moment. Your soul is still enough. Your light is still alive. The archangels will rise again. And you, beloved, precious, chosen child of God, you are the reason why. Because your heart still beats with hope. Because you are not done. Because your story still carries light. Archangel Michael says, the sky is holding its breath. Heaven is still. The 7 archangels remain motionless beside me, their wings torn, their light dimmed, but not extinguished. They are not gone. They are waiting. They are waiting for the soft return of your heart. You may not know the weight of your own soul, but we do. God does. And it is that weight, your purpose, your love, your faith, that holds more power than all the darkness in this world. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul today. So many times, you've walked through days that felt empty. You've smiled while your spirit ached. You've shown up for others when you could barely hold yourself together. You've survived things no one knows, and through it all, heaven watched in quiet awe. You may feel like you've failed. You may feel like you've wandered too far. But what you cannot see is that even in the moments you feel furthest from God, He is closest to you. There is something about the way you love that makes the angels sing. Something about your compassion, your honesty, your quiet hope that draws the heart of heaven close. You may not have noticed, but every time you chose kindness when you were hurting, every time you extended grace while your own heart was breaking, you brought healing into this world. You reflected the love of Jesus in ways that cannot be measured. What if 7 minutes of sound could end years of financial struggle and replace it with freedom, prosperity, and peace? This ancient frequency, once locked away in secret government research, is now changing lives everywhere. Imagine bills erased, doors opening, and sudden windfalls flowing into your hands. But every delay is wealth lost forever. Click the link in the video description and comments below to switch on your money wave, and claim abundance today. The 7 who gave everything to guard you did so because they knew what your light could do. They saw what you couldn't, that in your gentleness lived a fierce and unshakable strength. The kind that changes lives without needing to be loud. The kind that comforts the broken and lifts the weary. The kind that mirrors the love of Christ in quiet, unstoppable ways. Michael speaks now with a voice that's soft, almost broken. You are not forgotten. You never were. We have carried your name through the clouds. We have stood watch when your heart could not stand on its own. We have whispered prayers over your sleeping form, begging God to ease your pain, to carry you back to Him, to remind you how deeply you are loved. God has never taken His eyes off you. Not once. Not when you failed. Not when you gave up. Not even when you thought you didn't deserve His love anymore. He sees every part of you, every moment of joy, every tear, every secret pain, and still, He reaches for you. Still, He calls you His. Still, He longs for you to come home to the love that never stopped waiting. The archangels are not asking for you to be perfect. They are not waiting for you to say the right thing. They only need your heart. They need that small moment where you stop running, stop pretending, and let the truth of God's love in. Even if it's just a whisper. Even if it's through tears. That is enough. That has always been enough. There is healing waiting for you. Not the kind that rushes in like thunder, but the kind that holds your hand in the quiet and says, "We'll do this together." God never expected you to carry it all alone. He never asked you to be strong enough. He simply asks you to be willing. To let Him hold what hurts. To let Him rebuild what was broken. To let Him breathe peace into the places you haven't dared to look in a long time. Michael says, "I have fought for your soul with everything I have, and even now, with wounds across my wings and fire in my chest, I would do it again. Because your life is worth it. Because your soul is precious. Because even in the deepest darkness, I saw your light. There is no past too heavy for grace. No wound too deep for healing. No soul too lost for God to find. And you, even now, are closer to Him than you realize. Just by being willing to feel again. Just by letting your heart soften, even a little. That's where the light comes in. Type Amen if you surrender fully to God's will. The archangels are still breathing because of you. Because your story is not finished. Because heaven still sees the beauty in your becoming. Because love, real love, the kind that raised Christ from the grave, lives in you, still. Archangel Michael says, "The silence grows deeper, and the wind moves gently through the heavens, as if holding its breath for you." The 7 who once stood in radiant strength beside me are quiet now. Not because their love has dimmed, but because their strength was poured out to protect yours.